Are you ready for life-saving and life-changing hacks?
Assistas.
20 minutes of the best top expert tips and hacks to make your life better. LifeHakx. Technology, business, multimedia, wellness and health, events, reviews, and more.
This is Mary Collins with LifeHakx Media on Radio X, and I am back with Eva Wisenbeck. How are you, Eva?
Hello, Mary. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I am adjusting, trying to figure out what space is best to work from in this crazy time period of the pandemic and, working from home. And so as we're moving into summer, I've been trying to stock up on things like medicines and fruits and vegetables, but it's actually given me the gardening bug a little bit. And I was wondering what you thought about that and what you have in mind for today's segment.
Yeah. So we're going to do a quick and easy roundup of grow your own that will suit anyone, no matter where you live or what you like. So we can talk indoors, we can talk little containers on a balcony, and then we can talk garden. So yeah, covering all of it really.
Okay, cool. So do you have any medicinal plants that would be good for growing maybe or herbal plants that would be good for growing in pots indoors, for example?
Yes and no. I mean, to be honest, any herbs are phenomenal. I would say grow them if you find it fun. So like basil is a really nice one it's easy to grow in the kitchen or somewhere like that. But I just want to mention that actually dried herbs are still really, really good and potent too. So don't feel like you must grow your own or become a gardener because it's not necessarily needed.
Okay, well, fair enough. But I have to admit, I have some mint and rosemary. And rosemary is almost like a weed. It grows really well.
Yeah, it does.
So I definitely, for my little garden, I've picked rosemary and that sort of stuff that can be used medicinally, and it can be used as an essential oil as well. Once I figure that out, I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do. I'm kind of, my limit so far is steeping it in olive oil and just getting nice flavor that way. Or yeah, that's nice actually. Or vinegar.
So I know you love sprouting. Tell us a little bit more about how that works.
Yeah, so that to me is the absolute easiest, and it's so rewarding because within 5 to 7 days you'll have a harvest. So sprouting, the difference between sprouting and microgreens is that sprouting, you just take the seeds and you moisten them with water, and then you drain the water off because you don't want them standing in water, then they can get problems.
Okay.
And you just rinse them twice daily, and they will just grow. So it's the tiny, tiny baby sprout of whatever you like. It can be peas, it could be beans, it could be broccoli, radish, all sorts of yummy things. Sunflower seeds is another lovely one.
Okay, excellent. And like you said, quick rewards too, which is kind of motivational.
Yeah. So I do a batch almost kind of weekly. So I have a little jar. I've cheated. I bought a really cheap jar. It just has a little plastic mesh on the end, and it's slightly inclined so the water can drip out. So I kick it off, it grows, and then I have enough to eat for a good 3 days in salads or smoothies, wherever you fancy, and then I start a new batch, and it's just so easy. Even I can do it. So anyone can do it.
And do they require a lot of sun, or where do you put these sprouts to grow?
I mean, windowsill is great. But no, they'll be fine. So don't feel like you can't do it if you're in a flat, say, and you only have a window facing north. Just do it. They will grow. Right. They will grow. They're hardy little things.
Okay, perfect. So I can't wait to see your blog up about that on LifeHakx.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Is there any other sort of gardening tips that you want to give us for spring and summer?
So for me, if you don't want to move up from sprouting and you think, yeah, cool, I can do this, I want something a bit more interesting, you can do microgreens, which is the next step. So it's similar. You still have your seeds on the windowsill, but you grow them in a little bit of soil.
Okay.
And you let them grow a little bit bigger. So it will take maybe a week to 3 weeks to get a harvest.
Wow.
But they are also super nutritional because everything is really like the seeds contains everything the plant needs.
Mm-hmm.
And when you grow them, that kind of first little bit, yeah, they're just super potent.
Okay. Well, that sounds excellent. I've been trying to grow some garlic and I'm all excited because it sprung up really quickly. But then I found out that I can't actually harvest it until fall. So I was
No.
like, man.
I know. So this is why I like the various. You can do a bit of sprouting, you can do a bit of microgreens, and then move on to like containers, or if you have a garden, obviously do a bigger vegetable patch or plot.
And this is it, I guess, knowing when these things are going to actually be harvestable is really important as well.
It'll depend a little bit on which country you're in and where you're at. So I'm in the UK. We've had a really hot spell, actually, most unusual, but thankfully with the lockdown. But I've got some tomatoes growing. They're tiny. Radishes, chard, lettuce. They're maybe just about a finger length at the moment. So they're coming. But it'll be a good few weeks before I can pick some lettuce leaves. Let's put it that way. But
A few weeks
it's sooner than the tomatoes.
Right. And I heard about with tomatoes, they're quite sensitive to the cold, and that there's some sort of like old wives' tale of you put them out after a certain time, like Mother's Day in May or something like this. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, so actually it goes for most things, even a lot of the bedding plant flowers, if you manage to get hold of any this year, they don't like cold nights. And they particularly don't like it if they go wet during the day, because nobody likes a wet bottom that gets cold. So no, that's why you can take them out during the daytime and then just put them somewhere sheltered for the night.
Okay.
Whether that's indoor or you can just cover them to protect them a little bit, just
Okay,
for another few weeks at least, I'd say.
All right. What kind of coverings? Is it like the mesh things that I see at garden centers that you cover them with?
You can use mesh, anything. Obviously, you don't want anything heavy because you don't want to crush them. But yeah, like fleeces or anything like that. Depends again a little bit where you live and how cold it gets during the night. But I'm shifting my indoors outdoors at the moment. But I'm getting to the point where they should be able to survive now.
Okay. And speaking of survival, what about things like pesky insects that, of course, like I love my bees, so I want to protect them. But at the same time, I also don't want to put pesticides. Are there any natural herbicides that would work or pesticides that would work that would be not dangerous to you or the plant, but, perfect for keeping insects at bay?
Yeah, so I have to admit, this is not my speciality. I am a fair weather gardener. I'll do it because it's fun and I love kind of the eating aspects of it and getting some stuff. But we're very similar there, Mary. So I think, so kind of soapy water, a lot of people talk about. Again, obviously depends which soap you use, like dishwater soap. But that's really, really good. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I think, again, that's the beauty going back to the sprouts and the microgreens. It's not an issue.
Right, exactly.
Them and grow them so quickly. Yeah. It's when you start doing like cabbage family. I have to admit, I don't tend to grow because the bugs love them.
Of course, yeah.
So I tend to go for things like, I don't know, again, the radish and the lettuces and things. They don't tend to be so attacked by bugs. So that makes the whole thing a lot easier as well.
Well, in actual fact, I've been growing really wild things like nettles because it's really high in protein apparently, and dandelions I think has more than 3 times the amount of vitamin C than oranges or something. So
they're both phenomenal. Yeah, so now we're getting into foraging.
Bugs don't like them. Yeah, exactly. So that's perfect.
Yeah. And this is the best time, springtime. Everything is just up and coming. So for that. So I got some amazing books and I was taught a little bit as a kid, but mainly mushrooms and berries and things. But I would say find a local course, find someone who's good at it and either learn from them either virtually or when we can meet up again, maybe take a walking course with someone and learn, because that is phenomenal. There's so much you can eat.
Yeah, so this is a good time to look out for these sorts of things and harvest them while they're available because they only have a certain amount of bloom time as well.
Yes, true. Okay. Yeah, and then, sorry, just moving on ever so slightly from that because the beauty is, so I'm looking at my garden, I'm lucky I have a little elderflower tree.
Oh,
obviously, yeah, so I can use the flowers now, or I can wait for the berries, and then I can use the berries in the autumn. So yeah, you'll have a few. This is one of those things where there's normally something you can pick, no matter what time of year it is.
Cool. Oh, an elderflower. I definitely want some recipes for that. That sounds
Love elderflower is one of my favorite. It's like a bit of a childhood thing. Elderflower cordial and things. I love it. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will definitely post on LifeHakx Media more information about just where to go to look up for, basic sprouting, or for maybe natural ingredients like turmeric that could keep some of the insects away. And also just when to plant these things, because now is probably the time,
Yeah.
as it warms up on certain parts of the world. And of course, indoor plants, which is forever, for whenever.
Definitely. Yes.
Thank you so much, Eva. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mary.
20 minutes of the best top expert tips and hacks to make your life better. LifeHakx. Technology, business, multimedia, wellness and health, events, reviews, and more. LifeHakx. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. LifeHakx. LifeHakx.com. That's with a K and an X on Radio X.